Shalom.
You look ready for spring. Well, that's true. For real. Hi, everyone.
Hello. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
I'm getting the signal that I can say Shabbat Shalom to folks on the live stream as well. So Shabbat Shalom and welcome to our one of our quieter and one of the speedier Friday evening services this year. Or as we go. Oh, Stuart's on my side. We're balanced. Thank you. But if you are joining us on the live stream, you can still follow along with us in our prayer book. We're using the Kol HaNeshama prayer book, which you can find under the worship menu, and then select Shabbat and scroll down to the Friday night resources. But you will notice that there are a few things kind of skipped at the beginning of it feels like skipped. They're not intentional. They're not actually skipped. They just are intentionally dropped when we are in a scenario where we either are when we go from a holiday or remain in a holiday, either case would be true, and go into Shabbat, we don't find that we need quite the same level of kind of spiritual preparation. We're already in holiday mode. We're already enjoying the slowed down pace of holiday and Shabbat, and we are making a distinction between one kind of holy time and another kind of holy time. And so we have a shortened Kabbalat Shabbat and a longer explanation from the rabbi about it. So apologize. So we will.
No, it takes up the time, and it's a good and worthy explanation. It's called Kodesh LaKodesh, that you're going from holiness to holiness and maintaining that holy feeling.
Yeah. And so we will, after our opening song and candle blessing, we will actually jump straight to the final psalm of Kabbalat Shabbat without doing as many of our others or Lechadodi this morning. There's so much sun, it feels like morning this evening. So if you are joining us on the live stream, I hope you had a chance to grab the PDF of our prayer book, and we'll do an opening song quoting from Shir HaShirim, the Song of Songs that was read this morning as part of the festival service for Passover. We'll do Dodi Li, the final two lines in the Hebrew or transliteration on page 19.
Dodi li v'ani lo haroeh b'shoshanim Dodi li mizot olam min hamidbar mizot olam min hamidbar Dodi li v'ani lo haroeh b'shoshanim Dodi li.
Turn back to page 5 and 4 for the candle blessing for our Shabbat candles.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu להדליק נר של שבת.
אשר קידשנו במצוותיו וציוונו להדליק נר של שבת. And as our only reference to Kabbalat Shabbat, we go straight to page 51, the concluding verses of Psalm 92, Tzadik Katamar, from the Psalm for Shabbat.
Tzadik katamar yifrach ke'erez balvanon yizke shetulim bebeit Adonai bechatzrot Eloheinu yafrichu od yenuvun beseva דשנים ורעננים יהיו להגיד כי ישר אדוני צורי ולא עוולתה בו.
We are not quite a minyan here in the building, but we feel you at home, so we'll still take the moments to say Hine matov umanayim, how good it is to be together. We don't actually have to stand. We usually happen to be standing between these two. We don't actually have to stand. You can just kind of turn and wave, and it's good to be with those on the live stream and those here. Hine matov umanayim.
הנה מה טוב ומנעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומנעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומנעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומנעים, שבת אחים גם יחד.
Join me in the English on page 60. Praised are you, God, ruler of the universe, who has ordained the rhythm of life. The day with its light calls to activity and exertion, but when the day wanes, when, with the setting of the sun, colors fade, we cease from our labors and welcome the tranquility of the night. The subdued light of the moon and stars, the darkness and the stillness about us invite rest and repose. Trustfully we yield to the quiet of sleep, for we know that, while we are unaware of what goes on within and around us, our powers of body and mind are renewed. Therefore, at this evening hour, we seek composure of spirit. We give thanks for the day and its tasks, and for the night and its rest. Praised are you, God, who brings on the evening.
אל חי וקיים תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני,
ברוך שמו,
המעריב הרבים.
Amen. Continue with Ahavat Olam on page 63, prayer expressing our gratitude for God's love shown through this tradition that brings us together. Ahavat Olam, page 63.
אהבת עולם בית ישראל, עמך אהבת. תורה ומצוות, חוקים ומשפטים, אותנו לימדת. על כן אדוני אלוהינו, בשוכבנו ובקומנו, נשיח בחוקיך, ונשמח בדברי תורתך, ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד. כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו ואורך ימינו, ובהם נגה יומם ולילה, יומם ולילה. ואהבתך לא תסור ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני,
ברוך וברוך שמו,
אוהב עמו ישראל.
Amen. We'll rise on page 65 for Shema and Ve'ahavta and continue quietly with the following pages for selected biblical verses.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha, בכל לבביך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם בבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם, אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם אלוהים, אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם באמת.
You may be seated. If you are just joining us, we are using Kol HaNeshama, the sort of purplish brownish book here in the chapel, or the one marked Kol HaNeshama on our website. And we will continue with Mi Chamocha, the piece of the song that we also read this morning, the celebration of freedom that our ancestors sang when they went out through the parted waters from bondage in Egypt to freedom in their wanderings with God. Page 79, Mi Chamocha.
Mi Chamocha Ba'elim Adonai, Mi Chamocha Nedar B'Kodesh, Nor HaTehilot Osef Eleh, Malechut Charahu Banecha, בוקע יום לפני משה ומרים, זה לי ענו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב, וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני,
ברוך שמו,
קהל ישראל.
Amen. Help us to lie down, dear one, our God, in peace, and let us rise again, our sovereign, to life. This moment, our thoughts turned to loved ones who are ill, to those who are suffering pain of body or brokenness of spirit. And so this week, as a community, we pray for the healing of Shirley Steinman, Larry Baker, Levi Chisholm, Brian Zoner, Amy Maurer Martin, Lindsay Yagi, Jane Bashir, Aaron Greenwald, Ron Safran, Ariel Shoshana Bat Esther Zelda, Helene Waldman, Sue Baker, Diane Marie Reisman, Andrew Whitson, Dan Stillerman, Freda Burns, Rory Sandberg, Amanda Batya Messinger, Jamshid Sharifi, Marty Lewis, Herb Heller, Dr. Martin Tandler, Sandra Siegel, Debbie Mishkin, Freddie Kasif, Carol Tandy, Pearl Regan-Streif, Carl Goodfellow, Herschel Siegel, Bob Borns, Chuck Bader, Elliot Nelson, Bob Ashworth, Dee Schwartz, Bennett Ackerman, Linda Romano, any others in the room to include? All those we hold here in our hearts, and that you may be holding if you wish to name them aloud from home. You may do so as we join together in the words of Debbie Friedman's Misha Berach in the back of our pamphlets as we pray for the healing of all those we think of.
Misha Berach Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Leimotenu, may the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. מי שברך אמותינו, מקור הברכה לאבותינו. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Guard our going forth each day for life and peace now and always. Spread over us the shelter of your peace and the shelter of your healing. Turn now to page 85 for Veshamru, the verses of celebration for Shabbat, page 85.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, בני ישראל, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
We turn to page 87 as we rise for the Chatzi Kaddish.
יתגדל ויתקדש מרבה, בעלמא דברי חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי כל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב, ואמרו אמן. יהי שמרבה מבורך לעולם לעלמיה, יתברך יתברך וישתבח, יתבר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה, ויתהלל שמת קודשה בריחו, לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, תמירן בעלמא, ואמרו Amen.
Our silent Amidah begins on page 91 and continues through page 107. You can use the words on the page of tradition or the words of your own heart as we take the moment to reflect on the week that we have had and the week ahead and the transition from celebrations of freedom and into our just simple holy time of Shabbat, page 91 through 107.
עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואילו יאמרו אמן. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל.
May be seated as we turn to page 109 through 113 for the Me'in Sheva, traditionally a replacement for a repetition of the evening Amidah, but guiding us back through the themes of the Shabbat evening Amidah, beginning on page 109.
ויחולו השמיים והארץ וכל צבאם, ויחל אלוהים ביום השביעי מלאכתו אשר עשה, וישבות ביום השביעי מכל מלאכתו אשר עשה. ויברך אלוהים את יום השביעי ויקדש אותו, כי בו שבת מכל מלאכתו אשר ברא אלוהים לעשות. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו ואימותינו, אלוהי אברהם, אלוהי יצחק ואלוהי יעקב, אלוהי שרה, אלוהי רבקה, אלוהי רחל ואלוהי לאה, האל הגדול הגיבור והנורא, האל עליון קונה שמיים וארץ. מגן אבות בדברו, מחיה כל חי במאמרו, האל הקדוש שאין כמוהו, המניח לעמו ביום שבת קודשו, כי בם רצה להניח להם, כי בם רצה להניח להם. לפניו נעבוד ביראה ופחד, ונודה לשמו בכל יום תמיד מעין הברכות. אל ההודעות אדון השלום, מקדש השבת ומברך שביעי, ומניח בקדושה לעמד ושני עונג, זכר למעשה בראשית. אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו, רצה במנוחתנו, קדשנו במצוותיך ותן חלקנו בתורתך, שבנו מטובך ושמחנו בישועתך, ותטהר ליבנו לעובדך באמת, והנחילנו אדוני אלוהינו באהבה וברצון, שבת קודשך וינוחו וכל ישראל, מקדשי שמך. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת.
Continue with Kaddish Shalem, page 115.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, בעלמא דברה חידותי וימליך מלכותי בחיי כל ויום יכול, ובחיי כל בית ישראל בעגלה ובזמן קריב ויאמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך לעולם ולעלמיה, יתברך ויתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי קודשך בריחו לעילה מכל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונקמתה תאמירן בימה ואמרו אמן תתקבע צלותנו ואתון דכל בית ישראל קודמה והודה וישמעיה ואמרו אמן יהי שלום רב מן שמיה וחיים עלינו ויעקב ישראל ואמרו אמן עושה שלום במרומיו הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ויעקב ישראל ולכל יושבי תבל ואמרו
Amen. Please rise and turn to page 119 for the Kiddush, followed by Hamotzi.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho b'ahava uvratzon hinechilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש זכר ליציאת מצרים כי בנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת לחיים. Do you think that the Miller family, the children, would like to come up and say motzi? It's not a fun motzi tonight because it's still matzah, but we would love to have the children come up and say motzi with us, and the parents too, please.
Yes.
I always like to say the Miller family keeps the shul in business. So this is just a fraction.
And there should be enough matzahs.
I know, there should be. This is just a fraction of the Miller family.
You get to uncover it.
It's one half of the Miller family.
It's kind of a pocket, so just pull it out instead of uncovering it.
I know. Do you think that maybe we can get like names and ages?
Yeah.
Here, you have to know it. Yeah, take a matzah and say your name.
Everybody take a matzah.
Olivia and 8.
Olivia is 8.
Oliver and 12.
Oliver is 12.
About to be bar mitzvah
Max
in the
is
beginning of next
Max
year.
is 7.
Of the next
Wilkes
season,
and
I should
11.
say.
And Luke's
Wilkes and 11.
Wilkes is 11. All right. We've got a few.
Oh, wait.
Back to back. So you're going to lead us in Hamotzi. It is still matzah because we haven't had time to go buy bread yet. Passover goes straight into Shabbat. That's
Okay, ready?
that's how that happened. Amen.
Great.
Enjoy. You could
You can eat it and make all the mess you want.
and yeah.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's inevitable. It's
Not all the mess that you want, but please eat some.
No,
Eat some.
It's okay. No, don't put it back.
Don't put it back. Take some, but eat some. Eat some. You said the blessing to eat it, so you should eat it.
This morning we had gluten-free matzah, so this looks like the real deal.
This one's the real one.
Yeah, so
Which didn't crumb the same way. It's all very different.
Yeah.
Do we do sitting or standing for America?
Sit.
Okay. So you can be seated. So even though, given that we're going Passover into Shabbat, I took away Kabbalat Shabbat. We did less Psalms and we didn't do Lecha Dodi earlier. We get to add something else in instead, which is my Rabbi Nerdy favorite thing of the year. This evening we are making progress in our 7-week-long project of counting each day from the second night of Passover all the way to Shavuot, which we'll celebrate on June 5th this year. But if you just keep counting, you don't have to worry about the date. It's day number 50.
You'll get there eventually.
Right, we will get there. And this practice goes back to the Torah. Part of what I love about it is if you turn in your Siddur to page 674, 5 for the blessing in a moment, but back to your Kol HaNeshama, the big purplish brownish one. Back to page 674, the verses that call on us to count the Omer were the very first verses that I read out of the Torah as about mitzvah. So that might be part of the source of my love for this. But what I love about Omer, I think I shared on Torah Talk last week, is it's an opportunity to do a really simple mitzvah. We're going to say a blessing in a minute and read one line, page 674. I'm going to say a blessing and then read one line that will mark what day it is. I'm not going to tell you what day it is because there is a tradition that you don't say the number until you counted the blessing, because just counting is the mitzvah. That is the entire mitzvah, and you usually say the blessing before you do a mitzvah. So we take the moment where we're going to say a blessing, which will almost take more time than doing the mitzvah. Because we're excited to do it and to count and to be thinking about what it is to go on steps from a celebration of freedom to Shavuot for our ancestors who wandered the wilderness, if you imagine what they were doing in this period of time between leaving Egypt and getting to Mount Sinai to receive the Torah, which is what we'll celebrate at Shavuot. There's a lot to process. They are recovering from the pain of having been slaves in Egypt. They're not quite yet sure what to do with their excitement and anticipation of freedom. They're processing a lot, and so our tradition offers us the invitation that it's okay, that that's just one day at a time, and we'll count each day. This might be my favorite day of the Omer because the formula changes just a tiny bit in the reading, which you will see in a moment, but we will do first the blessing together on page 675, or we can say Amen to the Cantor's blessing, whichever is more comfortable to you. Then we will turn to page 677 and read the line that comes after number 6.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al sefirat ha'omer. Hayom Shiva Yamim Shehem Shavua Echad LaOmer.
This is the 7th day, making 1 week of the Omer. So now we will start to mark not only the days, but the weeks as well, which if you look closely at the verses is what we're to do. Count the days as well as the weeks. And we are 1 week in. And so that was it. You just did an extra mitzvah for tonight.
And there's an app for that. Like
I always like to say,
there's a Sefirah counter. You can download it in the App Store, on the Play Store, and it will help you count every single night. Me and my kids are obsessed with the app. We literally do it every single night.
You have location,
together.
If you have location turned off, if it's turned on, it'll know when it's sunrise, sunset.
It will tell you exactly
right here
when to do it. It's
and
really cute.
Pop up and tell you every night. Maybe the one that's on my phone is very firm, but it doesn't tell you if it's Shabbat. It doesn't give you the notification.
Mine will tell you an hour before so that it doesn't go off during Shabbat. That's how firm
This also
mine
tells
is.
us there are multiple apps for that. Yes. So thank you for indulging my nerdy
Anyway,
this
play around and have fun. It's never too late.
Opportunity for mine.
Yeah, it's never too late to do a mitzvah. So even if you haven't started, you can start. You can start.
And well, now.
But it's just the counting, not the counting.
Yeah, that's it. You say the
But
blessing.
it's also an
and the
NEC
blessing
door.
was
Yeah,
on
if
the
the app
counting.
is too hard for you, then just open up a C door.
Yeah,
NEC door has it. Yeah.
the app, the blessing, as we say, to count the Omer. We count, and that's it. And we can now rise and return back to the main part of our Siddur, back to our Shabbat evening service, to page 121, and we'll rise for Aleinu.
עלינו לשבח לדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשינו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ועושה הארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בגובה מרומים. הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, אמת מלכנו אפסולתו, ככתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום והשיבות אל לבביך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ מתחת אין עוד. על כי דקה ודקה אדוני אלוהינו לראות מהר לקראת השכר. ככתוב בתורתך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד, ושמו
When we recite Mourner's Kaddish, we affirm our awareness of holiness in our world. Much of our experience of divine goodness, grace, and love has come to us through those whose lives have touched our own. I invite those who are in mourning or observing yahrzeit to remain standing, and otherwise you may be seated. If it is your custom, you may join me. For those who are in mourning or observing yahrzeit, we also extend sincere condolences this week to our congregant Alex Binder and his family on the death of his sister Gabrielle Binder. So I invite all those who are observing yahrzeit or who are in mourning to join me in the Mourner's Kaddish, page 131. Yitkadal ve'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, ve'alma divrach yiruteh ve'amlich malchuteh, b'chayechon uvyomechon uvchaye dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uvizman kariv ve'imru amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevarach le'alam umei amaya. Yitbarach ve'yishtabach ve'yitpa'ar ve'yitromam ve'yitnaseh ve'yitadar ve'yitaleh ve'yitalal shemei tekudasha b'rechu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata za'amiran ve'alma ve'imru amen. Yehi shlama Rabbah min shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel ve'imru amen. May the one who creates peace above grant peace to us, to all Israel, and to all who dwell on earth. Say amen. May the memories always be for a blessing. You may be seated. You may be seated if you were saying Kaddish from home. This week, in the way of announcements, much of this week there will be several opportunities this week to participate in events honoring the memory of the Shoah, of the Holocaust, with Yom HaShoah being this Wednesday evening to Thursday. You can look in our pamphlet or on the website for a few different opportunities. One on Wednesday evening, and then one on Thursday afternoon, one Thursday evening, and one on Friday afternoon, as well as here in our Shabbat services next Friday night, as well as Saturday. So several opportunities. Come to as many or as few as feels right to you, to make sure that you have your opportunity this week to honor the memories of those who were lost in the Shoah. Otherwise, coming up ahead next Saturday night, we finally get to return to our party already in progress, the progressive dinner, which will have some appetizers and dinners in different places, and desserts come back together. Will come all back together. You should purchase tickets through the synagogue, so please go ahead and be in touch with Jackie. The deadline to RSVP was extended to the 24th, which I believe is Sunday this week, so please do send Jackie an email, J Goldstein at BEZ 613. Just send her an email if you would like to add in your RSVP and join in, or you can do on the website. That's probably much easier than bothering Jackie. But deadline has been expanded to this Sunday for next Saturday evening. And then looking ahead, the next several Shabbatot have some opportunities for celebration. And for Memorial next Shabbat, we will commemorate Yom HaShoah. The following Shabbat, we will have Israel Shabbat. On Friday, May 6th, we will honor those heading off to Israel, honoring Israel at Yom HaAtzmaut, the Israel Independence Day, I think is that week. And we will also be honoring our high school seniors at that evening service. The following morning, we'll have Tat Shabbat, and the following Friday night, May 13th, will be Shabbat HaKavod, installing our new board members and honoring our religious school teachers. So lots coming up as we hope to hold on to the spring weather of today and push it into summer. Lots coming up to enjoy. So check out our website and our emails, the pamphlets. Lots to enjoy. And for tonight, we will conclude our service with Al Shlosha Devarim, honoring the fact that many study Pirkei Avot, the teachings of our sages during this period of counting the Omer. So we will do Al Shlosha Devarim. It is on page 839 in your prayer book if you'd like to follow along.
Al Shlosha Devarim, Al Shlosha Devarim, Al Shlosha Devarim ha'olam omed. Al Shlosha Devarim, Al Shlosha Devarim, Al Shlosha Devarim ha'olam omed. Al HaTorah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al gemilut chasadim, al haTorah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al gemilut chasadim. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat 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 shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Thanks so much for being here. We look forward to seeing you again soon. And there's extra matzah. If you need more matzah,
Who doesn't need more matzah?
yes, or anything like me. More than you need still at home.